episode of Copperfield Weekly. If you woke up this morning to debit alert from your bank like alarm bells, well, that's because the Central Bank of Nigeria has just implemented one of its measures of driving taxation and revenue. Today on Copperfield Weekly, we review the Nigerian tax system, challenges and opportunities. My name is Victoria Kolawole and I'll be your host for today. We have our usual guests, Joseph Agbendo and Kissinger Ndobisi. Joe, let me start with you. What type of taxes do Nigerian companies and individuals pay?
The government levies all kinds of taxes in Nigeria, and the basic ones are company income tax, personal income tax, withholding tax, value added tax, education tax. These taxes are among other retinue of taxes that are being levied by the Nigerian government, just like anywhere in the world. However, the issue of incidence of tax payment or the burden of tax, I think it has to do with the quid pro quo. That is to say, what is the justification provided by government to the taxpayers? If the taxpayer can see the reasons why they have to pay tax in terms of infrastructure, in terms of welfare package, then they will want to pay tax. Otherwise, there are other countries that have tax structures that are quite more loaded than Nigeria.
And what is the minimum and maximum tax rate for companies and individuals?
Basically, we have different tax rates being administered by government. We have the fixed rate, which is a single rate or flat rate, so to say. Then we have the band. For corporate income tax, it ranges between 20 and 30%, where smaller and medium companies pay 20% of their annual profit to the government. It is administered by the federal government. And of course, larger companies pay 30%. For personal income tax, it ranges between 7% and 25% and graduated from 7% upwards to 25%. For educational tax, it is 2% of companies operating in Nigeria. They pay 2% of their profit to Educational Endowment Fund, Educational Trust Fund. And for withholding tax, it's 10%. It's a form of income tax that is charged to some specific transactions adjusted for the end of the tax year. And for VAT, it is 7.5%. So the various kind of rates we have on those taxes.
So, most countries are cutting taxes to spur growth. Nigeria seems to be going into a period of hypertaxation. Stamp duties on bank transactions, charges on airtime purchase, increase in VAT. What's your view on this, please?
My take on this, ideally, when taxes are cut, it is expected to spur growth. But it is not every time that taxes are cut that it leads to growth. For instance, American experience in the 80s, Ronald Reagan cut tax and led to growth. In the 90s, Bill Clinton did the same thing, it led to growth. But W. Bush did it in 2001 and 3, it never led to growth. What that means is that it's not enough to cut taxes, it's enough to look at the incidence of tax. So when you have a policy stance, look at the intent of the policy and the incidence. In cutting taxes, they what we call horizontal equity and vertical equity. In the Nigerian case, what government is trying to do is to see how to create impact in the economy against the backdrop of COVID-19 pandemic. Government is looking at the incidence. What can government apply? Government introduce stamp duty, implement in VAT and what have you. What that means is that they are looking at an area where the effect will be minimal so that they can use the money to rechannel into the economy. We call it rejuxtaposition. Because if care is not taken, we might get to where you reduce taxes, but the class of people that pay more taxes, they are the ones that enjoy more from the court.
So, Kissinger, we are said to have the largest population in Africa and second largest market after South Africa. What is the reason for the huge difference between our GDP and tax payment compared to other countries?
So let's define the tax to GDP ratio. This is a ratio that measures the ability and how well a government can raise its revenue vis-a-vis the size of the economy. The size of the economy in this case is measured by the GDP. So, despite the fact that the GDP is large, even got larger after the rebasing, it's now, and based on the statistics showing, you can find out that Nigeria still has a very, very tax to GDP ratio. This is basically so because there's a lot of focus away from the informal sector. And the informal sector has a very, very large volume of activities there, which the government has not really focused on. And of course, there's a lot of loopholes in the system. Loopholes in the sense that you have taxable income that does not go to the coffers of the government. E.g., an example is transportation sector. The market women and how much they pay, the market traders and things like that. A lot of the income doesn't go to the government. And of course, there's a lot of tax evasion. People avoiding evading paying tax. Now, I also feel that one of the major reasons is government has focused a lot of their attention on the petroleum sector, where it generates most money. Another major reason I think is that the government has focused a lot more attention on petroleum profit tax, which is up to 50%. They focus on the attention on the highest revenue while neglecting other areas of the economy, which is taxable. I think that has been a very, very major reason why government Nigeria's tax to GDP ratio is so low. But however, based on the Ministry of Finance and based on the proposed bill, government is forecasting a 50% tax to GDP ratio from 2023.
What sectors are free and enjoy pioneer status for investment?
The pioneer investment sector means that it's a tax holiday or rather tax incentive given by the government on certain industries, certain sectors in the industries to get the tax relief, meaning that they don't need to pay company income tax or Part 25. The industries are the agricultural sector, the quarry, mining sector, real estate, construction, and manufacturing generally. So I personally feel that if the government can continue to implement the implementation of these policies of allowing people to come into these industries, I also think that the issue of taxation should not be looked at in isolation. Why? Because a company coming to do business in Nigeria cannot only be focused on what incentives that we need to look at. An example is the ease of doing business. Our ratings according to Transparency International is still not very good in terms of doing business. The legal framework for activities, even in the courts, it's not very attractive. So I think that the government should look at other aspects apart from the issue of tax incentives in order to attract foreign direct investments. The power sector. If you remove power from the cost of doing business in Nigeria, you've basically removed 50%.
Messenger, Joe, it's been a pleasure having you on our show. Thank you everyone for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube and other channels. Like and leave a comment down below. See you again next week.